And unfortunately, I still hold their stocks.
Yeah.
But I think that's dead now that we're online. So, you got
well, we'll see. We'll see. We might find a way to bring it back. But as Mark pulls up the stats from the previous games, we are heading into Champion Select for this one here. Again, do or die time. You heard Mark say a 3-1 in the last 4 games is what TL or Golden Guardians will likely need in order to come away with a postseason. They've already dropped 1 game. That means they need to put 3 back-to-back here, and it starts with this one today. Golden Guardians, Team Liquid, let's out to the casters for the call.
Thank you very much, gentlemen of the analyst desk. I am Clayton Captain Flowers Reigns, joined once again by Mr. Joshua Jat Leesman, and what I can only hope in the background is his lovable little sheep, Kubo. Jat, how you doing, bro? Are you ready for the 5-game marathon here today?
I am so ready for this, Captain Flowers. You have no idea. The first cast you and I had was actually a conference room call, and this is a throwback to that, except the games and the quality is just going to be way header. And we have, as the analyst desk just laid out, close to a must-win game for both of these times. I've been looking at the standings, and I feel like a 10-loss team will probably make playoffs. We'll have to see how it plays out, but there's always a chance you don't, and both these teams have to win today.
Well, the bans are already done. We got Ornn, Taric, Set, Pantheon, Aphelios, and Senna all banned away. Team Liquid pretty confident in banning Senna away. You know that team's never going to play the champion. It's still pretty strong in a lot of other people's hands, so taking that off the table is always a good bet. And Golden Guardians, the Ornn tax that was so prevalent on the red side in previous patches, we saw it get through a couple of champion selects yesterday, and today it's actually Golden Guardians on the blue that will ban the Ornn away.
Yeah, I think Ornn's power was actually reduced a lot on patch 10.5, and he's not necessarily a priority, but I can understand why you want to take TL's initiation away. And you can see pretty, I think smartly here, TL is putting CoreJJ on an initiator and Doublelift on an AD carry who has a little bit more of an ability to self-peel. I know I've talked about it on a few different podcasts, but I feel like Doublelift actually doesn't succeed that much in metas where AD carries can't be highly mobile, so I think the Zyra Khan is a smart call for TL in a really important game.
And the answer from the Golden Guardians is going to be to complete their own bot lane there, locking in Tahm Kench next to Varus. Also often, you see Varus picked up. One of the main weaknesses of the champion is how vulnerable and immobile he is, so why not draft him a 3rd summoner spell to lane next to him there, alleviate some of those weaknesses. Syndra also picked up here for Golden Guardians. Very powerful champ right now in the current state of the game.
Yeah, it's going to be a test for Goldenglue to see how much he can succeed on it. He is 2-0 on Syndra so far in this spring split, and I think Team Liquid didn't want to be starved out of other mid lane picks, so we actually see matched roles here in the first phase for both teams.
Let's see how they go about the second half of the bans here. It's going to be top lanes. It's going to be junglers. I would hope that Team Liquid would give their last pick in this draft over to Impact to see if he is able to get himself some sort of an advantageous matchup there in the top side. We saw when Mark brought up the stats from their game yesterday against Evil Geniuses, it was Impact doing the most of the heavy lifting while Doublelift and Jensen's damage stats lagged behind. So up against Hauntzer, We'll see if he can do it here again with junglers being targeted. It's Rek'Sai and Lee Sin banned away.
I wonder if we'll see an Aatrox ban from the side of Team Liquid. Hauntzer's played it 7 times. It seems like by far his most comfortable champion, and it would round out Golden Guardians to make sure they have some side lane presence. I'm also... This is a shot in the dark, but I'm feeling Maokai for Team Liquid at some point. I think someone is going to play it a little bit more in the LCS. No Aatrox ban, but Maokai, it might be blindable with Set being banned right now, knowing you're going up against Hauntzer. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Team Liquid. What's it going to be? Do you leave the final counter pick there for Impact? Or do you grab yourself your choice of tanky boys early? This team currently lacking any frontline. They have engaged, but Rakan's not exactly a tanky champion. He goes in, he gets things started, but then it's hard to stay there and weather the front lines. They are going to go for the jungler here first, picking up the Gragas for Broxah.
If you notice, the jungle pool is actually surprisingly deep right now. So that was 4 straight jungle bans to set up Gragas versus Elise, 2 highly meta AP junglers. So I think that's why we see a lot of teams not early locking a jungler, because there's so many viable ones right now.
The response from Golden Guardians is a hover on Elise for a while. They will lock that one in. And you already mentioned the Aatrox being something that you were wondering if Team Liquid would ban away. Not only does it round out the comp pretty well, not only is it one of Hauntzer's most played, it's also one of the most blind pickable top lanes in the game. Renekton, also a very
Or you can just pick a
powerful
Crocodile.
laner. You just go with Renekton Elise. We've seen this combo in jungle and top so many times. It is massively scary for the enemy top laner because just the burst and CC combo there can be incredibly threatening, and that's what Golden Guardians go with.
Yeah, it's going to be his first Renekton game. I know that Immortals did beat Team Liquid with Renekton, so there's a chance that this is a little bit inspired by that, knowing that Impact didn't necessarily have a great answer for it, because the GP can work. The GP is actually pretty decent into melees if you can get ahead of the barrel game, and that's going to be what Impact decides to do. So we're looking at this Team Liquid composition, and it's on Broxah and CoreJJ to get their engage off, and they do need to scale a little bit.
And as was pointed out by the desk, Team Liquid needs to win all 3 of the remaining games that they have to play in the regular split if they want to have a hope of the playoffs. This Golden Guardians match, despite the fact that these two are even in the standings, is by far the easiest of those 3 games they still have to play, because FlyQuest and Cloud9 await. FlyQuest being significantly above them in the standings, Cloud9 of course just being that absolute monster that only TSM has managed to take a single game off of so far. Team Liquid needs to win this game in style if they want to inspire any sort of faith in fans, analysts, critics, everyone that they can pull this off.
Even for themselves, right? They need confidence building into that last week. And anytime you have a dynasty like Team Liquid, a lot of people aren't going to be willing to call them dead until they are mathematically eliminated, because they're still Team Liquid. They're still the 4-time defending champions, and it's getting closer and closer before they're reached the point of no return.
All right, with Champion Select complete, we are now going to be heading into a 5-minute break in order to preserve competitive integrity. But once we're back, we're going to be casting exactly what you're seeing on your screens right here. Same time, same place as always. Go ahead, do what Kubo's doing. Grab yourself a snack. Be right back here in 5 minutes. We will see you then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Week 8, day number 2 of the LCS. I am Captain Flowers. Next to me, Mr. Joshua Jat Leesman. Next to me is Spirit, of course. We are, of course, maintaining that social distancing because of the fact that everybody's doing this from home because of the COVID-19 crisis. But we're still bringing the LCS to you. Like I say, we're almost at the end of Week 8 here. That means only 1 week left to play. And for both Golden Guardians and Team Liquid, it's do or die.
And 3 games left for both of these teams. Getting right into this one, I get excited every time Team Liquid plays because there's so much intrigue with this team this year, wondering whether or not they're going to be able to pull it together. And you can see Golden Guardians is actually doing a bit of a stack, and Team Liquid might be looking to flank engage here.
Doublelift will walk
they
up
see him.
Rush, but a ward placed down before face checking is going to make sure TL doesn't meet with disaster here early on, although they are rather extended. Golden Guardians coming in for maybe a collapse, but they decide against a level 1 brawl.
Whew. So that was definitely a little unique. Team Liquid wasn't willing to all in, even if Golden Guardians looked like they were potentially in range. FBI and Huhi maybe a little bit more baiting than actually vulnerable, but when everything's said and done, Huhi got a ward kill and a tiny little bit of gold, and not much else is doing.
I wonder if Golden Guardians back away from that when Team Liquid had extended themselves into the Golden Guardians jungle, specifically because yesterday, when we saw Golden Guardians and TSM go up against each other, it was Golden Guardians' unforced error, a bad dive in the top lane, that gave TSM the start of the snowball that they controlled the entire game with. I have to wonder if they're still feeling the reverberations from that and being extra cautious.
I think extra cautious for Team Liquid is kind of the story of their split. Their combined kills per minute is the lowest in the league. They are the slowest team, and even the game yesterday, it kind of looked like every other Team Liquid lost. So I actually want to see them get a little bit more aggressive, especially with Zyrakan and Gragas playing around bot side, because Impact, I think in this game, would need to be the weak side top laner going up against the classic Renekton Elise with the GP.
Okay, so see Team Liquid play around everybody but Impact, really. See if Golden Guardians can manage to get themselves going without the errors that we saw yesterday. Specifically yesterday, it was Goldenglue, who ended up, I believe at one point he was 0-4-1. Constantly found out by TSM, constantly picked off, trying to play the Predator Rumble, but not able to put himself at a point in the game where he was ahead to make the roams that he wanted to make. Speaking of roaming around, it's Closer in the enemy jungle right now. He's going to walk up and see if he can find Broxah. Broxah steps out of the brush right there. I believe Closer saw him, and Closer will now start up this enemy red buff on his own. Closer already has both of his buffs under his control. Broxah, without a red buff to fight against this, will just surrender the red buff to his opponent.
I mean, this is really interesting that Broxah even entered the top side of his jungle because none of his soul lanes can support.
Oh, that was a well-placed cocoon there from Closer, finding Broxah beyond the Krugs. It manages to scare him away from that too, considering Closer, he has lane priority in both mid lane and top lane. As a jungler, this is one of the worst feelings. You can't deal with a guy 1v1 because it's not a real 1v1, and Broxah is denied the entire top half of his jungle.
Yeah, this early game is looking really unfortunate for Team Liquid so far. They're unable to get push bot against the Varus Tahm Kench. The Syndra has push on Zoe early. Of course, the Renekton Elise is able to push up early on the GP. So Broxah is really in survival mode. And when we do talk about Team Liquid needing to find some way to be aggressive, the question kind of comes back to how.
Well, Broxah's got the bottom half of his jungle, still waiting to respawn here. You can see Closer went ahead and passed straight towards bottom side to grab that crab. Did not stop around the top half for that scuttle crab. Just wanted to make sure he was going to go where Broxah is going. Keep him down. Keep him oppressed in this game and make it so he constantly has that lead on this Elise. 24-12 in the CS department. Jensen getting the better of Goldenglue here in a 1v1. The cleanse popped from Goldenglue to keep himself safe from the Sleepy Trouble Bubble CC. Will make sure that Jensen's not able to get the full kill, but he's still down rather low on HP.
Yeah, this is a better lane situation for Jensen for sure. And Broxah is still just level 3, so he's not actually offering any aid to Jensen. He might have to burn flash here.
Huhi shows up mid lane. Nice cocoon. Nice follow-up CC. The burst coming through. And the flash away from Jensen in time to stay alive.
Definitely one of those things where Jensen didn't want to have to burn his flash and thought the Drowsy was going to be enough to deter Closer, but now he's just going to have to greed around this turret to prevent Goldenglue from just getting a larger experience advantage. Good roam up by CoreJJ to match, but this early game has been all Golden Guardians.
Jensen needs to stick around for this EXP, as you said. Otherwise, he'll risk falling too far behind, especially against a champion like a Syndra, that if he's able to get that level 6 while you're still level 5, set up the CC combo, he can 100-0 rather easily. No Ignite means it's a little bit more difficult than otherwise it would be. Closer is level 5. Broxah is still working on getting to level 4. Clearing out these Krugs. This early game has really not gone his way. And honestly, apart from the one good week that we saw him have where he got Player of the Week, it feels like he hasn't had the impact on the Rift that this team made the trade, made the change that they did to their roster in the offseason in picking him up to get.
You can see here.
Oh,
really
and
going for it.
I say it, there we go. Predator popped. He swoops in underneath the turret and grabs the first blood.
I didn't think he had the damage for that, but the extra bonus from the Predator, you can tell Hauntzer as well didn't want to burn flash, right? Like, he just burned his Renekton ultimate. He knew he wanted to keep presence in that lane. That's exactly the type of play the Team Liquid would need. There's a chance now with the experience that Hauntzer going to lose, knowing he's up top without his teleport, that Impact no longer needs any assistance. And now maybe TL might be able to go classic style and play around bot side. So watching this one more time, you can see Impact does a good job just harassing him down low. Hauntzer burns the stun into the W, gets hit by the barrel chain, so he's just really low. And this is just a walk at him gank, but Hauntzer wasn't willing to preemptively flash the body slam. maybe he didn't think that Broxah would commit the flash, or he thought the damage wasn't going to be fatal, but Broxah knew exactly what he was doing and picks up the first blood.
And that's exactly what the doctor ordered here for Team Liquid. It gets Broxah back into the game, catches him up for that massive CS discrepancy in the jungle that they got thanks to Closer's early pathing and Hauntzer and Goldenglue's early lane advantages. And now we'll see what Broxah is able to get done on the Fat Man here in the bottom lane. Still no ulti available to use, so he won't be able to knock FBI and Huhi out of position. Doublelift and CoreJJ, no ultimates available on these bottom laners yet either. Closer does have his level 6, but of course that doesn't necessarily give you a new ability on Elise, so not as big as it is for most other champions in the game, as Goldenglue will once again be on the losing end of a trade here against Jensen, but he does maintain a farm advantage, and he'll pick up his blue buff now as well.
Yeah, and Closer is actually getting a pretty big CS advantage over Broxah. This is a bit of a snowball effect from the early red invade and the 2 pushing lanes that he had early, but Broxah had picked up enough experience on the kill that he's not necessarily in trouble yet, but you can see just by the farm discrepancies that the first blood just makes the gold even, and Golden Guardian still has a Cloud Drake. So early game, even with Hauntzer going down, is still going okay for Golden Guardian.
One thing I want to point out as FBI goes back to base here for the first time, you can see based on his inventory and his keystone, this is a lethality poke style Varus. Not going to be revolving around those auto attacks, instead just looking to get big piercing arrows before the team fights. Makes a lot of sense when you look at the Team Liquid roster, which honestly has no tank. Gragas builds AP these days. Rakan's not necessarily a hard tank either, so a piercing arrow onto pretty much anyone can whittle these health bars down before a big fight, as long as he has the opportunity to let those fly. See if he can find those marks as this game moves forward. Hauntzer and Impact once again getting into it a little bit here on the top side, and Impact does a good job trading up against that lane bully Croc.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, with the Sheen completed, Impact is in a point of lane bullying, but Golden Guardians is just much faster on this rotation, getting the Rift Herald and trying to run away now.
And Closer get out. He uses the Repel to get over to the Blast Cone, reposition himself just nicely. And now Broxah, he tries to get in position there, but won't quite be able to do it. Predator pop to give him the extra speed, but it was not enough. So now Team Liquid has to fall back. We'll see what Golden Guardians can get with that Rift Herald pickup.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting game, because Team Liquid is playing a lot of catch-up, but Impact is looking like he's in a solid position. And when I've seen Golden Guardians win their games, a lot of it is because I think their fundamentals, so to speak, are actually pretty strong in terms of how to play the map. Like, once they get the Rift Herald, they know where to use it, they know how to control Drakes, they know how to move the lead into a bigger lead. It's just really, really hard for them to get a lead in the first place. And this game is very even right now, but with the Rift, Golden Guardians might have a chance to get the lead. So it's a really important moment for Team Liquid right now to try and get a little bit of a lead to stop Golden Guardians from taking steps with this Rift.
Jensen using a fake flash there in the mid lane. Always important to remember that that's not the actual summoner spell. It was just the Zoe W allowing him to have that extra summoner for the trade potential onto Goldenglue, but it's not like it's going to send him home or anything. Still a moderate CS lead here of about 1 minion waves worth for FBI over Doublelift and CoreJJ. And honestly, we've been talking about Team Liquid and how it's so surprising that they're doing as poorly as they are this split. Remember that last year, Doublelift and CoreJJ were just in a tier of their own in terms of bottom laners. Everybody was always, yeah, Doublelift and CoreJJ are the best. The conversation was, well, who's number 2? And it just seems like it's fallen off a cliff here in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, you can see getting pushed in right here, trying to turn around, but they have no assistance, right?
Yeah.
They can only just accept that gank, and now Rift actually being used bot. I'd love this by Golden Guardians attacking TL where their carry threat would be. This probably won't kill the turret, but it's going to make it really weak. Getting
him plenty of plate money. Doublelift had to go back to base. He had already expended his ultimate. He was down to about 1/3 HP. Didn't want to stick around and risk anything there. Brox is taken very low. Repel comes out from Closer, but he doesn't want to go any further forward as Jensen comes down. TL could have the opportunity to make a move here. CoreJJ with ulti and flash available, but TL decides to call it off.
And this is looking like pretty much every other TL game. Really slow, not much of a lead happening early. What's super fascinating to me about Team Liquid's struggles this split is they basically have the 3rd best early game on average of the teams in the LCS. So it is the weakest early game they've had in 2 years, but it's not bad by any means. It's actually been kind of after 15 minutes where they've gotten bled out. That's what we saw against EG yesterday, and I really wonder here against Golden Guardians, the first time they played it was the Keith first blood game onto Doublelift, and then Golden Guardians out from there. This game, it's actually completely even, and Keith is nowhere to be found because they've subbed in.
Their Kryptonite's gone.
It is going to be about this mid game.
With no Keith around to first blood Doublelift.
Yeah.
Is that the secret that Team Liquid needs to find success here against the Golden Guardians? And your point about their early games is interesting because that was one of the exciting parts about watching this team in 2019 was for so long, there was always this idea around the top teams in North American professional League of Legends play. They just won because they had better players and they waited to outscale and then just team fight you when they were better and they had all their items, right? It was kind of the, back when TSM was always winning, it was what it felt like TSM always did. And then all of a sudden, Team Liquid was here. They had the best early game stats. They had the fastest overall game time. And all of a sudden, our best team was also our most aggressive team. That was really fun to watch. And
gotta watch out here, though. The GP ultimate and teleport is up. Hauntzer's teleport is up. But Golden Guardians have the wave pressure. CoreJJ goes in.
Let's see some of that TL aggression as Golden Guardians find themselves jumped on. It's Huhi and Goldenglue both under pressure. Both going to be popped. Take the swig. Broxah gives them a big old drink, and that is 2 kills over to TL. They got their marks, and now they're going for the objective 2.
Getting CoreJJ on an engager seems so crucial there. They found the one pocket of missing vision from Golden Guardians and actually make a proactive play in this game. So getting the kills, getting the Drake do put Team Liquid in a good position.
Exactly where they want to be here, grabbing themselves that Drake, keeping the count tied up so they don't feel like they're under any sort of pressure whatsoever from the Drakes as the game moves forward. Let's take another look at how CoreJJ set this up.
Yeah, look at all the wards that are in the river. They even popped the blast cone. The one place they're not looking catches Goldenglue off guard. And sure, Huhi flashes in to get the Devour, but Tahm Kench actually can't move that far anymore. So if you flash into 4 people, you're still going to die, and then your Devour's not going to do anything. So it ends up being 2 deaths anyway off the pick from CoreJJ on a Golden.
And right there was what I was talking about before the fight started, how when Team Liquid was at their best, they were a team that made things happen, right? They were a team that was fun to watch because they were creative and made moves. And right there, we want to see them make moves. We want to see them get back to that Team Liquid style where they look like a back-to-back-to-back-to-back LCS champion. Remember, if Team Liquid doesn't make it into the playoffs, if they fail to win these next 3 games, that will be the first time we have ever had a reigning champion not make it into playoffs for at least a chance to defend their title. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it would be the first time that after Team Liquid wins a title, they don't win another one. Because
I mean, technically that's true as well.
Ever since they started winning.
It's just
that's a little bit less impressive. That's more common.
Yeah, that one's more
But the missing playoffs would be massive. And I mean, let's not forget about Golden Guardians. Most people had them pegged as the worst team in the LCS preseason.
Yeah.
Being 6-9 is quite an accomplishment already in terms of build.
It's nice.
And if they beat Team Liquid here and 2-0 them on the split, that would feel pretty good.
Remember back in 2018 when we first started with franchising and Golden Guardians were the worst team in the LCS, but the one thing they managed to do is beat Team Liquid? That's what I'm wondering, is if we're going to get a throwback to those times. What if they can be that Team Liquid counter once again, except this time it means a whole lot.
Looking towards the top side right now, you can see Impact still scaling up. I think he's going to be the strong point. Hauntzer doesn't have great ways of dealing with him.
Closer's in some trouble here. Nice collapse from TL to quickly punish and grab that kill.
Yeah, this might be a vintage Impact top die game. He hasn't necessarily gotten solo kills, but he has total control of this lane right now.
TL on to the Rift Herald here. Second Rift Herald of the game. First one was claimed by the Golden Guardians, used in the bottom lane to grab themselves a couple of plates. Broxah should grab this one, no contest, but it looks like Hauntzer may come over to try to stop him. Hauntzer low on HP with this Renekton, trying to go in and grab that kill. Broxah with a smite to keep himself healthy enough to not be killed, but the rest of the Golden Guardians are collapsing. Impact and Broxah flee towards the top side of the river as Shelly's patience is reset and she moves back into her home. Team Liquid maintain control over the mid lane and priority there, but Goldenglue, Huhi, and FBI are still all hanging around. Skill shot's going to miss from everybody on that side, and both sides disengage.
That was actually really tense because Team Liquid was sacking mid pressure in hopes that Broxah would be able to solo the Rift Herald, but I believe Hauntzer actually snuck around through his own jungle to disrupt the Rift, and that's the reason Team Liquid couldn't break this open. But now, because TL was greeting so much in the mid lane, sacking pressure, they end up burning Doublelift's ultimate, can't contest the Rift, and Golden Guardian gets their second Rift of the game.
Well done by the Golden Guardians to wrest that objective away from Team Liquid and make sure that they put another in their own pockets. They are still down a little over 1,000 gold. Nothing too crazy just yet, but everything you can do to prevent Team Liquid from building this lead any further is going to help. With Doublelift almost knocking down this tier 1 turret in the bottom side, that gold lead will grow here for the side of TL. One more auto attack should do it. Hauntzer making his way down towards this turret, but he's not going to walk up any further. He knows that they don't have vision inside their bottom side jungle. Of course, we have perfect vision, so we can see all the wards being established by CoreJJ and Broxah in this bottom side Golden Guardians jungle. They want to make sure they can come collapse if Hauntzer overextends himself. He won't be doing so, just moving down there to catch the wave as Doublelift goes B.
And they're really hoping to get an ISO death onto a Golden Guardian solo laner, namely Hauntzer, which is, as you mentioned, why he's playing safely. Right here, with Ocean Drake spawning in 20 seconds, I expect Golden Guardians to use Rift mid to try and get pressure and then move towards the Drake. And TL is going to try and get engaged before that.
Huhi is put to sleep.
Beautiful.
The Drowsy comes out. The chain CC is down. Perfectly done for the side of Team Liquid. Golden Guardians look for a counterattack, but won't be able to hit their CCs thanks to a flash from Broxah getting him out of harm's way. And despite the fact that TL, yes, they had to use 2 big team fighting ultis to make that one happen, they managed to catch out that Tahm Kench, that safety net for the rest of the team of Golden Guardians, and that means it's Team Liquid who has priority and control over that Drake pit. FBI manages to get himself away from Jensen's Zoe attack, and that means that he'll stay alive, but second Drake now for Team Liquid.
CoreJJ's been on point this game, and so is Impact. Great stun, though.
Jensen caught here, might be taken down. Piercing arrow is going to be let loose, and a nice shot from FBI.
Nice snipe. Team fights are going to be weird in this game. So sure, Team Liquid has the 2 Drakes, and they have the 5-kill lead, and that was the first kill for Golden Guardians, but you saw a glimmer of the way Golden Guardians wants to fight. They actually don't want or need extended team fights. They are all pick and pop. Everyone on Team Liquid is burstable. All they have to do is land 1 CC, and the rest can follow with Lethality, Varus, Syndra ultimate, and the burst that actually ends up coming out of a Sorcerer's Shoes Elise. So Team Liquid, I feel like Banshee's Veils, Mercury Treads, QSSs, any of those things that can prevent that chain could just stop Golden Guardians' comp from working all together, because in an extended fight, Team Liquid just has way more damage than Golden Guardians, but in a pick scenario, Golden Guardians would have a large edge.
Yeah. Golden Guardians also get the bonus with having that Varus building lethality. Lethality items are cheaper than the big ticket crit items, like your Essence Reavers, your Infinity Edges, things like that. Umbral Glaive only costs 2,400 gold. Yuma's Ghostblade is 29, and now you can see with those 2 items, along with the Dirk in inventory, FBI's got a ton of lethality. And when you assess the armor on the enemy team, you can see Doublelift has a cloth armor in inventory despite the fact that his boots are already completed, so he can't build those into a ninja tabby. He's just setting on some flat armor so he doesn't get half HP'd by a piercing arrow.
Yeah, I think it's necessary, especially this early on into the game. You can see even with the 5-kill lead, there's only a 4-kill lead. There's only a 300 or 400 gold lead by Team Liquid, and once Hauntzer gets that Blade of the Ruin King, I'm actually really curious to see how the side lane 1v1 will go. When I saw the Blade of the Ruin King buffs, I thought Renekton might be one of the prime users because he can triple hit his empowered W and get, 30% of someone's health instantly, so I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Team Liquid with control over this top side river here, but Golden Guardians looking to move up and contest that, clearing out these wards. TL will be forced away, but now they got everybody except for Impact grouped up here. Remember, though, Impact does have the ability to immediately affect the fight with the Gangplank ultimate. Also has TP ready to channel to join this fight as FBI goes for the flash engage with the chains, and Jensen is way too isolated. Nice catch from the Golden Guard.
And that's the type of thing the Golden Guardians needs to do. That was 1 CC spell landing, dead. Jensen, yes, he's working towards a Banshee's Veil. He's not there yet. And there's no tank on Team Liquid, as you called out at the very start of the game. So it's going to be, even if they get the Ocean Soul, it helps in long fights, but it doesn't burst shield you. So Golden Guardians still have a very winnable game at hand.
Golden Guardians get themselves a slight gold lead with the extra money from the cash that they've just made onto Jensen. FBI is the man I'm going to be watching very closely as these fights play out. So much importance on him being able to land piercing arrows, hit the chains of corruption for the team fight, not just to lock down targets that they want to kill, but if Team Liquid ever finds another one of those opportunities to start the fight on their terms, it is imperative the Golden Guardians disengages as effectively as possible. As you've already pointed out, there's no way they win a straight-up 5v5.
Definitely doesn't seem like it. Trinity Force and level 13 on the GP, so he's at a strong point if he can get to a team fight. You can see Doublelift completed his Infinity Edge as well. Broxah actually opted for the Mercury Treads because he wants to eliminate the chain CC as much as possible, but that also means that his stopwatch or Zhonya's is going to be a little bit of a ways since he ended up going into the Oblivion Orb. So as much as Team Liquid want to set up for these spots, they have to proceed with a lot of caution because of that chain CC from Golden Guardians.
Honestly, 23 minutes into the game, 100 gold separating the squads with the Drakes tied up almost perfectly. 1 Drake to 2 there. Golden Guardians having just a slight disadvantage compared to Team Liquid. The game couldn't be much closer. Anything to decide how this goes.
This is kind of what we've been talking about with these Team Liquid games. Last year's Team Liquid would have had that 1,000 gold lead, and right now we'd be looking up and it will be 5K. But it's completely even. They haven't been able to set up enough plays. We've seen a few glimpses from CoreJJ, but this Ocean Drake coming up in 15 seconds now because of the pick threat that Golden Guardians has thrown out and the kill they got on Jensen. They have the setup for this next Drake. And TL's trying to get it back through the mid lane.
Jensen grabbed himself a trouble bubble onto Huhi, who's now going to be isolated once again. Broxah making sure the ulti provides the combo opportunity. Piercing arrow won't find its way onto Broxah there, but now Goldenglue is going to be caught out. And remember, Huhi's already down, so there's no rescue potential coming out there. Goldenglue will deny them with the scatter of the weak. He'll continue to run away. Impact leading the charge, and Jensen coming up the wall there with the flash. Goldenglue tries to turn it around. A nice 5-man scatter. It's going to take some health bars low, but it will not find the kills. Golden Guardians stand in a 3v5. The health bars on Team Liquid are all around half, but it's still enough to give them their 3rd Drake and bring them to Soul Point.
Really big moment for Team Liquid there, being able to catch Huhi before anything else would happen. You could see even with the chase, Goldenglue nearly still took them down, but Hauntzer wasn't there. Huhi dies early, and TL put themselves 1 away from Soul Point.
This feels like deja vu. This is the same thing that happened last Drake. As the 3rd Drake of the game was about to spawn, we also said, okay, let's see if Golden Guardians can use the Rift Herald to give themselves priority over this Drake pit, and then boom, they catch Huhi out mid lane underneath the turret, they use the Gragas combo to do it, and they get the Drake because of it. Then here for the 4th Drake of the game, boom, they do the same thing again. They're just rinsing and repeating what works successfully, and Huhi with 3 deaths so far has to be a little bit more mindful of these things.
Yeah, it's incredibly important that Huhi isn't the one getting picked out, because then he has no one that is rescuable. But like, more importantly, it's also important for Golden Guardians to be able to support Huhi in those situations. Like, the team does have to be more cohesive. I think one of the biggest Achilles heels for Golden Guardians all split has been ISO deaths, whether it's Hauntzer or Goldenglue. You can look back on a handful of games and say the Golden Guardians was in a winning position until the sidelines just started dying. It hasn't happened necessarily yet this game, but as you mentioned, 6 minutes ago we saw the pick. A minute ago we saw the pick. What are we going to see in 3 minutes and 30 seconds? Because maybe it'll be another pick on a Huhi.
If 4 minutes from now, Huhi dies mid lane underneath the tier 1 turret because Gragas ulti knocked him back after CoreJJ or Jensen caught him out, there's going to be a serious problem here. Because you got to learn.
You'd think, right? But I was watching a lot of LCK before they went on hiatus. They announced they're going to be back fairly soon as well. But there were a lot of games where you see a Drake fight, and then people back off for 5 minutes, and then you see another Drake fight. And in this 5-minute lull, it looks like Golden Guardians has the pressure. I mean, look at where they are. They have deep wards into the blue jungle. Renekton is able to push up. Now that he has that Blade of the Rune King, it looks like he's winning that matchup. Even Goldenglue was able to push out that top lane. But this mid-lane control that TL is trying to hold on to has been important.
Doublelift loses half HP there. Oh! Piercing arrow almost found him. If that hit, it would have taken him nearly dead. as Golden Guardians have to back away. Broxah did pop the Predator there just in case there was a chance to make a move, find one of those big barrels here yet again. Drake's still 2.5 minutes away. It is imperative for Golden Guardians that they contest all of these from this point on. That Ocean Soul, as you said, it's not going to stop just a big burst combo coming through, but as long as there's some time in between the CC, it will help Team Liquid regenerate away that poke and survive a little bit better.
Yeah, it's not as big of a win condition as an Ocean Soul would normally be, but it's still a really
still an Ocean Soul
that's permanent.
Yeah. And it brings Elder on the table, which is an entirely different beast that we'll talk about if we get to that point.
I kind of feel like that's where we're going, Flowers. This is giving me those vibes.
Yeah, we're not exactly... This isn't one where we've just got pedal to the metal the entire time. I mean, we've got 9 kills in 27 minutes. That's not particularly aggressive by any standard. We do have a stopwatch picked up for Closer on the side of Golden Guardians, so if he gets caught out, there is an opportunity to stop that. Huhi with his Gargoyle Stone Plate will also be able to last a little bit longer if he's focused. And you can see the stopwatch also in the inventory of CoreJJ, so he can keep trying to make those initiations that we've praised him for a little bit already this game. Team Liquid applying the pressure to the Tier 1 turret here in the mid lane. Golden Guardians will finally have to concede that, and that is the second turret of the game. TL has only taken 2 turrets 28 minutes in.
Uh-huh. They haven't been able to move safely to sides, in part because of Tom Kench, but also because of the CC chaining. Like, if anyone on Team Liquid actually gets isolated, Golden Guardians is really good at collapsing on them. That's one of the reasons the Gold has stayed close despite Team Liquid's mid lane control. And we kind of call the Captain Flowers. We got 40 more seconds here.
All
Control
right.
set up for Golden Guardians. Lock your eyes on a Huhi, because maybe that's where Team Liquid's thinking about going next.
Okay, Closer there just took about half the HP off of Broxah and then goes into the repel to dodge the counterattack from Jensen. Let's see if the Golden Guardians can manage to keep Team Liquid at bay.
So Golden Guardians is all in the same place here, which is good. They just need to make sure that if Corj gets jumped on, they can burst on whoever jumps on him. There's no QSSs and only 2 stopwatches on the side of Team Liquid, so if they go for Core or Broxah, they should be able to burst.
Broxah
but they're split up
has
again.
flash.
They're going for Drake.
Broxah has flash. He's popped Predator. He is looking for any chance he might be able to find to go in here and make something happen. The Drake nearly down. That one's going to be secured there by Closer on the side of the Golden Guardians, but at what cost? Huhi keeping his mid laner alive. Goldenglue does not get hit by the ulti. That means he stays alive, but a flash over the wall is demanded from Closer in order to stay alive here. Jensen going to be denied by the blast cone, uses a fake flash to get over the wall, picks up another one. It's Zoe. He's going to flash 3 times in a team fight anyway. As Team Liquid say, all right, we got the enemy support. They had to use tools to disengage that. Let's go for the Baron now.
I think they can. They still have such a strong team fight. Doublelift has Flash Ult available, 350 CS and 3 completed items, so they actually can burn this. Or if there's a fight, they're in a decent position.
No Huhi. Sleep finds its way onto Closer, who goes into the repel to dodge away from most of the damage that's going to be coming in, but Jensen's still able to find the kill, and now it's Hauntzer in the middle of 5. He is gone. Shut down for Jensen, and Golden Guardians do nothing to stop the Baron except give over a 600 gold congratulations gift to Team Liquid.
Good job by TL to give up the Ocean Drake, which, as we talked about, isn't extremely important in these contexts, and then use that 5-man squad to force a big objective. So this one more time, CoreJJ is just set up, waiting to see where Golden Guardians is going to be coming from. They get the sleep, and they know they can peel off. Like, there's not that much threat coming up from Golden Guardians unless they are able to get the jump on them with the CC chain. So sure, Hauntzer files in, but he's all alone. He's never going to be able to do anything in that situation, and Baron fairly easily goes over to TL.
TL now with that Baron and a 4,000 gold lead. With control over the map, let's see what they can get. Still only having those 2 turrets claimed from the Golden Guardians means there's plenty of standing gold on Summoner's Rift right now for Team Liquid to put into their own pockets and continue to build this lead with. Doublelift will secure the enemy red buff, give himself yet another resource that he's denying from the Golden Guardians. Impact sets up shop in the bottom lane, pushing towards that tier 2. He'll deal with Hauntzer in this 1v1. Baron empowered minions going to make sure of that. Closer and Huhi looking to maybe make some sort of a play, as FBI is also brought down to the bottom side there, but they won't have a chance to collapse on anyone here just yet. Impact eats an orange, Closer's forced to run away. Team Liquid, they take down the mid lane tier 2, and now they're grouped up as 5, pushing onto this inhibitor turret.
Yeah, they're going to just keep going. I mean, Impact is so incredibly strong. Doublelift, with his stopwatch, is feeling quite safe. And they're going to just... I wonder if they're going to keep pushing this inhib. It seems like they're just maintaining presence here so that Impact can go clear off those side turrets, because this has the potential to be a very big Baron power play.
Huhi forced to gobble up Hauntzer there as he's hit by the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. You said it, man. Team Liquid, they're just saying, hey, if you leave, we'll kill it. We're buying time for Impact. There's not really anything the Golden Guardians can do about it. They're not in a spot where they can just run at Team Liquid. There's so much denial capability with the Zoe and the Rakan put together as Hauntzer's deciding he's going to go for the all-in here on the bottom side into Impact. That's not an all-in you want to take, bro. The damage comes out and Hauntzer is barely limping away.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if Renekton wins that, as Impact just handily pushes Hauntzer away.
Yeah, well, with the evidence that I just was shown, I'm going to say he definitely doesn't. Team Liquid feeling better than before now, as Impact is able to heal up, teleport right back into the bottom lane, and continue the siege. Now, granted, there is only 20 seconds remaining on this Baron power play. Golden Guardians still have all 3 inhibitors standing, although they lost the mid lane inhib turret. Preventing any sort of spawning of super minions from a Baron buff that your opponents were able to get still feels good.
And having the G on Impact means he can actually kind of play frontline now, if we think about the setup for the Ocean Soul, knowing he has not only the oranges, but also a second life to absorb the burst cooldowns from Golden Guardians, means that any fight the Golden Guardians starts on Impact, they probably lose, since they wouldn't actually get the kill, and those cooldowns take so long to come back up within the midst of a fight that TL would be able to turn it. So TL smartly playing very aggressive right here to get control of this Ocean Drake before the soul spawns.
Oh, Team Liquid, once again, in a spot where they control the Drake pit. Golden Guardians trying to find any opportunity they can, namely a piercing arrow, to move in here. Broxah with the Predator popped. He knows that if he catches anybody out with that explosive ultimate, he can grab an easy follow-up kill with the assistance of his team. Trouble Bubble shot out there by Jensen to try to get more zone control out. The Drake is spawning, and Golden Guardians are pushing the issue. Yeah. They're moving up. CoreJJ coming around from behind. Gangplank ulti is dropped. Here comes the quickness. Here comes the damage. There goes Goldenglue. That's what they needed for the side of Team Liquid. Huhi flashes over the wall. I can't help but feel like it's a completely wasted summoner spell. You're dead to rights either way. Team Liquid with a 2 for 0 will now head back over towards that Ocean Drake.
Yeah, they, I think, consider just walking down mid as well with how strong. Knowing they have double GA on 2 of their carries, Banshee's Veils kind of all around, they've hit the point where they've been able to itemize against this burst, and unless something goes terribly wrong, Team Liquid's got this one in the bag.
Team Liquid, 7,000 gold up. Drake Soul finally secured. We said this was the easiest game they had remaining out of the 3. I said they needed to win it with style. They needed to look good. Whether or not they're winning it with enough style is up for discussion. But they are in a spot right now where it looks like they should be able to win this and keep those playoff dreams alive. Which it still feels weird to say that we're talking about Team Liquid in this.
Yeah, I mean, 12 kills to 2. 35-minute Ocean Soul. Sure, it's a little slow, but you don't mind in these cases. You're not... At least, I said this yesterday on the analyst desk after Team Liquid lost to EG. It's like, are they dead? I'm like, Team Liquid's not going to be dead to me until they are mathematically eliminated.
Just because it's Team Liquid?
Just because it's Team Liquid. Like, I understand that there are a ton of signs that this team isn't what they were, as Jensen kind of goofs.
I mean, he kind of goofed, but he also kind of lived. They shot everything in the kitchen sink at him, and he just walked away. Ulti called down from Impact to provide suppressing fire as he falls back, but well done there. Jensen, he avoids the death.
Yeah, I've been this way with any League Dynasty team, just like not calling them dead until they actually are eliminated, whether that's TSM when they lost to Clutch in spring of 2018, 18 to fix their final sweep, and now Team Liquid going for this Baron. I think they're just going to win this fight.
CoreJJ starting it off. Hauntzer thrown back into the Team Liquid line, and considering he was all alone, he stood no chance. Huhi now the target yet again as Goldenglue's caught out over the wall. Team Liquid does have some vulnerable health bars, but not vulnerable enough, man. They're just too far ahead. Goldenglue's going to find himself killed here yet again. I pointed out how yesterday he was 0-4-1. Today, 0-4-0. Just not the games that Grayson needs to be having right now in these moments. As Impact and the rest of Team Liquid, they're saying, all right, we don't have the Baron, but they got the 2 picks on the enemy solo laners. You mentioned ISO deaths. You mentioned Hauntzer and Goldenglue dying too much for Golden Guardians. 0-7-0 between them this game. I don't think you could highlight it any better.
Not a good look from the Golden Guardians solo lanes. Ocean Soul actually paying off big here when the poke lands, so they could very easily restart the Baron after Golden Guardians actually got some good flanks in. With the vision control kind of wrestled away, Golden Guardians is unable to set up any of those big burst picks that they had earlier. And just watching this, like, it's not necessarily a clean fight by Team Liquid. Lots of stuns and CC end up landing for Golden Guardians, but, you know, you can see Closer off on the left, FBA off on the right, Goldenglue up behind them. They're making it difficult on TL, but ultimately unable to get fatal damage on anyone. Doublelift GA, this is why they build GA on him and GP, so he gets immunity to whatever the first burst combo is. Now they have Baron, and they're looking to end the game.
Yeah, when the biggest thing you can take from a fight is grabbing a guy's GA, you know you're at a bad point in the game. Over 10,000 gold behind. The Golden Guardians will have to make their stand here. It's 2 minutes of Baron locked and loaded here for Team Liquid. Impact once again taking his designated position in the split push, making sure that he's pushing up that bottom side. The rest of the team going to be covering him here from the jungle. Doublelift and Jensen both with plenty of damage to bring to the table here. Both almost, well, Doublelift is full build. Jensen is almost full build. He bought himself his Medjai Soul Stealer just to see if he can add a few extra pages here to the book before the game ends.
Know that Team Liquid is going to win in a straight 5v5. This is sad life for Golden Guardians right now.
Yeah, you don't really have much that you can make happen here. Jensen, he goes forward, he gets caught by the chains, but it's immediately going to be popped anyway. Does not matter. Bottom lane inhibitor falls. Mid lane inhibitor, that's your next target for Team Liquid. There we go. Easy peasy 1-2-3-zy. Hauntzer loses 2/3 of his HP just by existing. Team Liquid is posing one hell of a threat right now as Doublelift is taken down below 20% HP. Has to fall back and regenerate here a bit. Doesn't have TP, so cannot readily go back to base and immediately rejoin the fight. Instead, he moves over to the Wolf Camp, and lifesteal is a hell of a drug, Jat. He's instantly back to 2/3 HP, but the team called to regroup anyway, so they're all back to base.
I mean, 50 seconds left on Baron power play. We might be seeing the old Elder Drake come through.
Here we
TL
go.
doesn't need to take any chances.
No chances.
They're continuing to outscale.
All right.
This is fine.
This is wonderful. We're waiting on the Elder Drake now. 40 minutes into the game. 11,000 gold lead. But
look at Double CS, man. 470 in a 40-minute game.
yeah, that's
At this point, he's only farming for elixir gold.
that's a little wild. I mean, I guess you could sell your shoes and buy a Phantom Dancer or something.
You can. Yeah, technically he has no lifeline passive right now, so Phantom Dancer would work. He's already over 100% crit though, which still scales a little bit with Xayah. I think some of the abilities. He would be over 100 if he'd be over 100 if he built Phantom Dancer. Because I think he's at 100 right now.
No, he's at 75 because Mercurial and GA
You're right.
don't give it.
Yep, I'm trolling.
All right. Well, he could do that.
Phantom
We'll see
Dancer.
if he does that. I don't know what he's going to do. We're hoping for the Elder Drake right now. Team Liquid doesn't want to push down this last remaining inhibitor turret. They're going to go for the big boy instead. Elder Drake spawning here under 20 seconds. Golden Guardians on their death knell. Pretty much, if you give Team Liquid Elder Drake, you lose the game automatically. Yes, 9 times out of 10 you lose the game if you go towards the Elder Drake anyway, but hey, that's better odds than 10 times out of 10.
And there's a good chance that TL doesn't even take Elder into kill range, but they're only using it as a way to get Golden Guardians to come to Elder. Which I think is what the smart play would be, because Elder is just as effective for the team that has or doesn't have souls. You can see Goldenglue just gets chunked.
All right, Elder Drake, what do you got for me, buddy? Let's see how this one goes. FBI throws out the chains. CoreJJ is coming in from behind, looking for the opportunity to engage. Repel comes out from closer, but there's nothing else to repel to as CoreJJ goes over the wall. He's able to find the engage onto Goldenglue and Hauntzer both once again. Those solo lanes caught and destroyed as Doublelift will go up in the ulti. The stasis comes out from both CoreJJ and closer, but for the latter, it's the last thing he'll do this game. Huhi and FBI will run away towards the bottom lane as Broxah and Impact will say, don't worry, fellas, we got it. They're on the Nexus itself. The playoff dream lives on for Team Liquid, and they take down Golden Guardian.
TL moved to 7-9. Golden Guardians fall to 6-10. And Captain Flowers 0016 for CoreJJ. That's a bit of a throwback game for him, I gotta say.
That is the support dream.